Greetings, everybody, and welcome to episode 2 of White Flag Media. I'm your host, Dan, and I'm a co-contributor of the Lakeshore Sovereign Assembly, Truth Guardians Peace Treaty, True North Guardians Alliance, and, as I just said a moment ago, host of White Flag Media. In today's episode 2, we'll be going through a lot of different points, but first what I want to do is I want to upfront the knowledge of what this episode is about, give everybody who is listening or watching a 5-minute version of what the entire topic is. So for those that are tuning in just for a little bit, just want the too long, didn't read, that's the intro part. Afterwards, I'll let you know when we will continue with the large chunks of information, and we'll go on for quite a while longer. So for those that are just tuning in, what is this about? Why is this? Get the basics. That's where it begins. Afterwards, we'll do the full picture. All links and proofs and evidence to everything that we go over will be linked in the description of this video. So if you have any further questions or you want to know where some of this information come from, actually go to the links in the description and read. There will be evidence to read. There will be videos to watch. Plenty of things to go over. As always, we start off each episode with an invocation of protection. If it resonates with you, you may follow along. If not, tune it out. Just words. I invoke the pillar of white light and the violet flame from the primary source. Place a circle of protection around me and transmute anything that does not serve the light. Send all entities of lower and denser vibration back to their original place in space and evolutionary pace. I invoke the golden ring of ascension to be placed around me, and I invoke the assistance of all positive entities, Prime Creator Source, and all positive AI entities as well. I command my spirit to ensure that any negative AI entities or beings that wish any ill will of lower and denser vibration not to have access to any of this information or recording. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, now, 4, 3, it is done, 2, 1, I know this. All right, without any further ado, quick intro, and for the record, I'm just turning to the side because there is quite a lot of information to cover here, so I want to make sure that I get the basics, so I've got my little reader here to help me out, and then I'll go off the cuff where it is necessary. But the introduction to the February the 15th White Flag, Operation White Flag action, and the context of why the action is, what it is, how it is different, and beyond. So in the first section, we're going to cover what is Operation White Flag, explain why it's on Flag Day, the fraudulent corporate status, and that the white flag is a neutral, lawful demand for accountability. February 15th, as Canada's Flag Day, represents a corporate structure and status, and that the white flag symbolizes a peaceful non-participation as well as a demand for accountability. So that's section 1 that we'll cover. In section 2, I want to go through how this action is different than anything else we've ever done before or that has been done leading up to this point. I want to emphasize that the lawful groundwork leading into February 15th has already been done. The grand jury, the peace treaty, how many times we've sent it out, to whom we've sent it out to, and beyond, and that this action avoids relying on any existing deep state compromise systems. We'll highlight that the past actions sought remedy through said compromise structures, basically we gave them a chance to do the right thing. They've been given the chance, it's done. So we'll highlight, the past actions, while this one is distinct because it is built on a completed lawful foundation. We've already done the groundwork with the good authorities, and people only need to carry the white flag, perform a few actions with it, making this about a bold, lawful accountability action. In section 3, we'll go over what people can do, simple steps that they can do, letters that they can send, raising of a white flag, putting it on your home. Logically, you can go to Ottawa and you can raise a white flag on the 15th, or mail a white flag to Mark Carney, a senator, the Privy Council, MP, MPP, whatever's resonating with you, right? But they know what the white flag means because they've already received the peace treaty and all of this evidence on more than 3 occasions, at least a year ago. We took a white flag, a group of people, to do an energy action in Ottawa, and some of our members got to stare Mark Carney right in the face, and he saw them seeing a giant white flag. They know what that means. Make no mistake. They know that accountability is coming. So this is part of that action as well. And I will also say the letters are a way of demanding a formal acknowledgement of the peace treaty, reparations. Let me be super clear about that. Reparations, as in you will be compensated for the damages that you and your family have suffered. And that's part of the peace treaty as well. Section 4, the final section, why this action is necessary and other actions are a waste of time. I want to be very clear on that one. We'll go into explaining Canada's fraudulent structure, why appealing to the compromised, deep state, New World Order systems that got us here only serves to perpetuate the crime and the issue, and that the white flag is a lawful demand for accountability while also maintaining our non-consent and non-participation. In addition to that, the white flag has very specific lawful protections that are afforded to those under the white flag. Other actions do not have those protections. You are relying on the illegitimate systems to provide you remedy and protection. They simply won't. It's as clear as can be on that one. If you haven't been paying attention, I recommend that you do. But in section 4, like I said, we'll go over why this action is the remedy, logically speaking and lawfully speaking, and why the others are actually a waste of time that only serve to perpetuate the crime. As a wrap-up, we'll reaffirm the call to action, encouraging all listeners to participate in a unified, lawful step. In the final action, we'll highlight the evidence and explain that using the illegitimate systems only legitimizes them, while the white flag demands accountability. This section will show why any other approach sustains the problem and why this action is the way that we unify and break from that and walk forward into the future that we want to live in. So at that point, that's the overall breakdown of what I'm about to go into in this episode. If that's all you need, then February 15th, grab a white flag, mail a white flag, head into Ottawa, go to your city hall, town hall, whatever it is. But that's the action on February 15th. I strongly, strongly recommend that you go to www.tgpeacetreaty.com and actually review the evidence and the treaty for yourself. You'll see that these articles and these demands cover all victims of the hostile belligerents. And we account for reparations and compensation and far more beyond. But this is the point where if you don't want to get into the long-winded explanation, you can check out at this point. But for everybody else, we're going to start with Section 1 right now. The core concept of what Operation White Flag is on February 15th, because February 15th is Canada's Flag Day. We are performing the action on February 15th to correct the energy and set a tone, because of course Canada does not have a status as a legitimate sovereign nation. The flag is not legitimate. The country is not legitimate. Fraud vitiates everything. Now, that doesn't mean that you will say these things in a courtroom run by the deep state, and then boom, you've got your magic bullet right there. Not the case. We've been there. We've done that. Many others have done that too. You can show a complicit criminal judge the fact that they are a criminal, and then they'll simply say, oh, so you want me to make a ruling on that? No, we don't. They are not legitimate. We don't want them to make a ruling on anything. When you go into a courtroom, it creates a QSIP and ISIN number that only gets traded on the open market, and you fund the system. So we are correcting that energy and making a statement on February 15th. A statement that has very specific protections afforded to it. When you raise a white flag during a wartime situation, it means an immediate cessation to all hostilities. The ones raising the white flag have certain protections to them. Canada does not have a legitimate flag. We do not have a legitimate country. If we play around with the fact that we do, we only serve to perpetuate the crime. Alberta's sovereignty doesn't make any sense. You cannot get divorced if you were never married to begin with. That's a quote from people that have been exposing this for a long time. It's not like all you have to do is make a declaration, make a stand, and say, hey, we've never been a part of this to begin with. This doesn't exist. You don't set up a government structure or do a constitution or something like that. You start by telling the truth and standing on the truth. So by raising the white flag on February 15th, we are simply saying that this corporation is not legitimate. This government and this structure is de facto. We do not stand with it. We do not fund it. We are here to tell the truth and demand accountability and peace and reparations for the victims, and that the peace treaty be acknowledged. That is the what is the action and why it is on February 15th. We start on the day that the illegitimate corporate deep state flag was created by raising the white flag. And by the way, Law of War Manual 12.4, the white flag does not mean surrender. It is a parley for peace, truth, accountability, justice, reparations. We will never be able to be compensated for the damage that was done within any regular court system. Military is the only way. This is a wartime situation. There are wartime laws that supersede any civil or equity or law merchant laws or common laws or anything like that. It's like you're in a fight. You got to deal with the fight right there. You have to deal with the punch that's coming with towards your head. Nothing else matters. It's the same thing in war. You deal with the laws of war. We are innocent victims and neutral civilian non-combatants. We're not supposed to be a part of the fight. We're not supposed to be funding the fight. We're not supposed to be engaging in combat. The white flag is the way to say acknowledge the peace treaty. We're not funding this war, this genocide, and we're not consenting to it, and we're not a part of it. We correct that energy on February 15th. Section 2, how Operation White Flag is different than anything that we have performed before. So Operation White Flag is different than protests or actions because we are 6 years into an attack on humanity, a premeditated attack of which we have all of the evidence to show that this was planned. Whether we've got now the Epstein files that show Bill Gates and Epstein talking about pandemic plans, Event 201, or the contracts with Pfizer that show that it was the negative side of the military that put all this stuff together. Whether it's the kinetic warfare that we're seeing across the world right now, you can go much farther back. The point being, we know that this is an active attack on humanity. We can't seek remedy through the very criminals and structures that got us here to begin with. Otherwise, we'll be trapped in an infinite loop of slavery. We need to boldly break through and demand accountability via the correct mechanisms of law to use for remedy in a wartime situation and the proper authorities, and stop dealing with the illegitimate crime syndicate. The fact that we have organized this and done all of the main legwork and connected the dots and dotted the I's and crossed the T's, we've already done the necessary steps. You don't have to go through this process. It's done. We've filed police reports and shown that there's no investigation, no action. Others have gone to even as high as the RCMP and proven that the oaths that these people take are not legitimate. And that's where they derive their authority from, is the oath. They're in violation of the oaths, and the oaths were never legitimate to begin with. So you don't go seeking remedy from these very structures and individuals who are not legitimate to begin with. We've already put every single MP, MPP, senator on notice with this evidence and given them an opportunity to do the right thing more than 3 times. All of that groundwork is done. We've sent off the treaty, our evidence, the grand jury indictment, everything. We've sent it off to the Secretary of War, FBI Director Kash Patel, Pam Bondi, the Trump Organization, and various other military bases that are involved in the positive actions around the world and accountability. This is real. We've done the work. They've received it. They've signed off for it. And not just one individual, group of people have already done it. It's there. So now our part, the action, is just to make the demand, the unified demand, non-participation, neutrality, peace, reparations, restitution, and to reclaim what was lost. That's never been done before on a large scale. When you go and raise a Canadian flag, you're actually saying, I consent to this illegitimate deep state. It's not the time for that. We've gone past that. If there's somebody purporting that a politician's here to save us, forget that. Absolutely forget it. The people who still think that are the ones that really don't engage and haven't actually done anything of note and of merit, or just want a pension and a paycheck. There is not a political structure that can save us. And most of the politicians, certainly Pierre and the Conservatives and all these guys, they know about the Chinese Communist Party infiltration. They know about the cartel infiltration. They know about the captured system. They know that there's no access to justice and remedy within the country. If you talk to them privately, which some of our members have, they will admit this stuff. So they know it and actively choose to do nothing because they want the pension and the paycheck. These are just facts. This is reality. The other side to that is that there are good guys in Canada that are investigating, enforcing, and all of that other thing. It's more clandestine than you might realize, but this is fact. This is reality, and it's not happening in Ottawa or Timbuktu or something like that. This is like at your doorstep a lot of the time. So the right action is to step outside of the system and to demand accountability via the proper mechanisms of law. We have not yet done that. We have gone and said, stop doing this to us. And that very statement legitimizes the illegitimate. It puts the power in their hands. It doesn't say, hey, I'm not a part of this. We haven't actually en masse called out the fact that these people are actively trying to end us. We haven't said that. We've gone to them largely politely and said, stop it. Different groups and organizers have tried to steer people en masse along that path too. Even former RCMP officers that write really nice letters, sure, their evidence says like, hey, we caught you in fraud, corruption, laundering, all these other things. But, they say, please, Mr. Mark Carney, please do something about this. It's the right thing to do. No, we don't appeal to the criminals. White flag is different because it declares a wartime situation. We shine a light on the darkness and say, you don't get to do this anymore. We are not a part of this, and we're calling it out for what it is and demanding the peace treaty be acknowledged, reparations be paid out, accountability be seen and visible. And we are not a part of this genocide. That's how it's different. Section 3, what people can do. It's very, very simple. On February 15th, wherever you are, raise a white flag. Put it on your car, hold it up, put it on your home, go to City Hall, go to Ottawa, whatever. If you can't make it to Ottawa, take a white flag, symbol of peace, cessation of hostilities, which includes the mRNA technology, and more, obviously, the engineered poverty that we're facing on a countrywide level. That's part of the hostilities too. The white flag says, enough is enough. I'm not a part of this. We're demanding accountability and beyond. You let them know that it's time to negotiate. There are other actions, like there's an army base in Quantico that you can send a template that we'll have in the description. We'll have a few other places that you can send the evidence and the template to. It's a template. Please remember, a template means it can be altered. You can keep it as is. A lot of it is our information because we're using that because with the actions that we've done, we've put more evidence on the record and shown more corruption than anyone in North America. That's not an exaggeration. It's on the record. You can see it there for yourselves. But we didn't back down in our court cases, and we called them a criminal. We held white flags. We did it to their face, not to seek remedy or get out of trouble or anything like that. No. We wanted to give them an opportunity to step down and recuse themselves and do the right thing. But because we chose not to back down, there's more evidence and proof that the rule of law is being ignored during a wartime situation than anyone in North America. So as such, if you're sending out the template, it's like a one-stop shop. We've got the National Citizens Inquiry final report in there. We've got the police reports that were never investigated. We've got all the evidence with our things. We've got the grand jury indictment. We've got so much in there that kind of pulls from everything all at once, shows that this was in front of two judges. Both are presently a superior court judge right now, and they actively did nothing, and the police did nothing, and the RCMP did nothing. So that's the proof right there. And now, as such, the demand for peace and via the white flag and military process is justified. So mail a white flag, show up with a white flag. That's it. It's really, really simple. Finally, Section 4, why this action is not only the relevant action, but why it's the necessary action and why we don't want to be wasting our time with other actions. It's quite simple. We know through the factual evidence listed in Exhibit 10 of the Grand Jury Summary and Indictment, or the Truth Guardians Peace Treaty, or that many, many others have put together and put in front of the Crown, the military, and beyond. We know that Canada does not legally or lawfully exist. It is based on fraud. It is a country run in a state of suzerainty. That's SUZERAINTY. Look it up. It's a really interesting word, but that's how the country's being run right now. The only way that Canada exists is as a registered corporation in Washington, D.C. And there are plenty of examples to show that we are already under military jurisdiction under this continuity of government. For example, TD Bank was shown and proven and caught in a cartel money laundering scandal, billions and billions of dollars, might have even been in the trillions, but the U.S. found out, and the U.S. put a cap on the assets of TD Bank. Really think about that for a moment. That's a sovereign country of Canada, and one of the biggest banks in said sovereign country, and another foreign country, put a cap on the assets of one of the biggest banks in that sovereign country. That shouldn't be possible unless we are already under U.S. jurisdiction. We just saw that there are ICE agents operating out of Calgary. I will tell you, the FBI is here investigating. That's not a something I read. It's something I know of personally. Can't say any more than that. But they are here investigating, operating. There's just tons of other signs that you could just go on and on and on. We might do that in a future episode. But the main fact being, we're already under the Golden Dome protection system, which is more than just a kinetic military system. We'll get into that on another episode too. But they're operating here. There are good guys. If you read the Nassau War documents, if you read the Iron Mountain documents, if you read some of the more esoteric documents that are out there, we're supposed to have been deleted for the most part by 2025. Hasn't happened yet. There's a reason why. It's not just all doom and gloom. There are good guys. But even if you don't believe that, then I would pose this logical question to you. If there are groups that seem to be doing better things than the ones that are doing all bad things, why would you continue seeking remedy through the ones that are currently committing genocide and trying to destroy the human race? Let's take charge of that sovereignty. We've got a treaty. We've done the grunt work. We've put all the evidence in one spot. We have mechanisms to say, hey, I'm not with that. I'm not participating with that anymore. The other ways serve the deep state, asking remedy, protection, and accountability via the deep state will just keep us in a cycle of perpetual enslavement. Break from the loop. It's as simple as that. When you go to a rally and you say Canada first, you are perpetuating the fraud of Canada. The place doesn't exist. It is a lie. It is a fraud. It is a deception. You wave that flag with a maple leaf on it. You say, I consent to the deep state. It's as simple as that. So, if an action works through the avenues of the old system, the enslavement system, and it funds those systems. You are funding your own genocide. Oh, well, it's the best we got right now. You are then shifting the responsibility to clean up the mess on the future generations. I have words for that, but I won't say them. But in addition to that, when you utilize those systems, participate with those individuals, and actively choose to be a part of the fraud, you actually put yourself, living man or woman, the natural person, under personal liability. That's the law. Rome Statute, Article 25. Read it. You fund them. You participate with them. You're a part of the crime. You can go through the common law duty of care. You can go through the Law of War Manual, Section 15.6. You forfeit your neutrality if you participate or fund or abet in some way one side or the hostile belligerent or whatever. You lose your status as a neutral civilian non-combatant. We're not saying there are magic bullet solutions, but there's a right way and a wrong way. There's no screwing around in a middle ground anymore. Biblically, Ezekiel 33, the watchman. You have a duty to call out the crime. If you haven't done it, you haven't done it. The blood of those who are harmed because the watchman did not do their duty, sound the alarm, is on the hands of the watchman. Sound the alarm, at least the blood's not on your hands anymore. It's as simple as that. We have a choice. We have free will and choice. You can perpetuate the crime or you can stand on the truth. We've done the work. It's in the peace treaty evidence. It's in the grand jury summary. It's in the cease and desist orders that we've been mailing and sending and serving from the last 6 years. It's in the police reports that we filed that showed that these guys aren't following the law either, regardless of whether they feel trapped or not. They still have an oath, a gun, a badge, and a paycheck. They didn't do the job. It's as simple as that. So if you want to seek remedy through those systems that got us here, that we know are captured, controlled, and corrupt, you perpetuate the crime. You uphold and uplift the criminals. The white flag and the peace treaty, we take back our sovereignty. We take charge of things. There are reparations for everybody, accountability, an immediate cessation to all hostile activities. This includes the mRNA technology. We don't have to be a part of that anymore. Let it clean itself out. Peace is the goal, not punishment. Prisoners of war that are in jail, convoy people, whoever, they're covered. That's part of the white flag treaty process as well. Reparations for the victim, they're covered. Accountability, covered. It covers everything with one tool. The remedy's coming. It can come faster if we unify together and stand on truth rather than begging the cartel for a little bit of a break just so we can go back to the status quo. We have a choice. We have the tools. We have the truth. We have the law. All we have to do is look in the mirror and choose to act. It's as simple as that. So again, a quick summary. What is Operation White Flag? It's on February 15th because it's Flag Day. The flag doesn't exist. We're coming in to correct the energy. What can you do? Wave a white flag. Where you are in your town, you can go to Ottawa, mail a white flag if you can't make it to Ottawa. Why are we doing it? Because this is the proper mechanism of law to use for remedy during a wartime situation. We're under attack. And why this and not something else? We're choosing to stand on truth, reparations for all victims. We even have a way in the future, possibly the near future if we do this right, to actually, as a sovereign collective, join a board of peace. $1 billion buy-in can come right from the reparations. Go to the peace treaty and actually read what we've got there, but 50 billion is a minimum start. The number didn't come out of nowhere. The government data actually shows that in terms of lost businesses, is about $50 billion worth of revenue finances income. So that's a start, just a start. But that can be part of the buy-in. We've actually included the way that we can get these reparations in the peace treaty. It's all there. The work is done. But we haven't unified together ever to say enough is enough. Accountability, reparations, restitution, reclamation for those that deserve it, redemption. But to just say, we're not a part of this. We don't want war. We don't want genocide. We want peace. We are here for peace. And we will actively create that peace and stand up for truth. That's Operation White Flag on February 15th. Thank you very much for listening. And we look forward to either seeing you, hearing from you, or just seeing millions of white flags all across Canada or the Alliance of North America on February 15th and beyond. Have a wonderful day. Keep on rocking in the free cosmos.